Hi, my name is Lewis from All Ends Magazine, and we are here tonight to chat about cars, and NASCAR is our topic. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, and we are car nuts. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done.
All right, Lou Santiago. I host CarFix on Velocity, and I'm here to shoot the crap with Lou and Lou Jr. and anyone else who wants to get in the open seat. So if you're out there listening, get in the open seat. We got room for you.
Yes, and enters Lou Jr. I'm Lou Jr. here, keeping everybody on track, thinking of topics to talk about. We're coming to you live from Blab, All Ends Magazine, courtesy of All Ends Magazine. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about NASCAR. So before we got on air, we had Lou Santiago sharing some thoughts on NASCAR. I'm not a NASCAR fan, but I was under the impression that it was a growing industry. Lou, from what you were saying, it doesn't sound like that's the case.
Well, I believe it's a combination of the economy, and the tickets have just gotten pretty far out of reach for the average guy. That's what, like I was saying before we went on air, I really think that they ran their core fan out. By that I mean, when I first moved down to North Carolina, I'm in Kannapolis, 20 minutes from Charlotte Motor Speedway. I mean, I'm close. As a matter of fact, before the race, the planes, they fly around. They call it a runway. They fly around before they do the flyover.
Yeah,
they fly over my house.
Wow!
When they drop down to get ready to hit the speedway, I've had B1s come over my house, and I can read the wing numbers. Okay, the windows rattle. It's cool as hell. Don't get me wrong, but that's how close I am to the speedway.
Yeah,
and I mean, there were people that would save their money all year. They had their spots in the infield, and that's where they went, and they camped out there all week. They bring their family. It was, it was a big thing. It was their vacation. And now those guys are gone because, they went for the wine and cheese crowd. I remember probably 5 years ago, I went to a race, and I'm not a NASCAR fan, but I had the opportunity, so I went. And the infield was million dollar motorhomes. You know what I mean? And they ran out those people. And now you look at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's like turn 2 and all the way down to Back Street. Those bleachers that were there are gone, man. They're gone. And every now and then, if you catch it on TV, you'll see that the seats are empty. There's not a lot. They're not filling it like they used to, and I just think it's because they ran their core fan out. I really think that's what it is.
So you're from the South, where you're not from the South, but you live down south.
I'm not a damn Yankee. You want you to know, I'm not a damn Yankee. I'm a fucking Yankee, okay? I
was like, wait, I don't know where he's going with this. But anyway, so let's talk about a little bit about the history of NASCAR before it really gained popularity for the blue collar worker. How far back can you take us when it comes to NASCAR?
Well, the stories that I've always heard and read is that what it was the old moonshiners, and they would run, they would load up their 40 Ford with booze and run up and down through the mountains in a God, I can't think of the name of the town now. It just left my head. They would run up and down the roads and run moonshine, and then they would go to the local round tracks and race. And that's where all those guys knew each other from. And then it just grew from there. But, you're talking about guys back in the 40s and 50s and all that, where they were, a lot of them were poor, man. You know what I mean? They weren't making money racing. They were making money running booze and spinning wrenches on people's cars and farming and all that. They were making money that way. So racing was their hobby. And all of a sudden it started to grow because these guys were characters. I mean, you look at the the footage of all those guys like Ralph Earnhardt and Bobby Allison and all those guys, man. Them dudes were rough, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was no big deal to get into a scrap in the pits. They were average guys having a good time. And not only that, man, them dudes, you look at the cars they drove, they were men.
No power steering,
no aerodynamics, steering wheel a mile wide, and they throw it in the corner. I mean, no open face helmets. Dude, them guys were men.
Yeah. Dirt in the eyes. Hey, you remember the movie that Richard Pryor did, Running Moonshine?
Yeah.
And he started racing. What was the name of that movie?
Yes. Greased Lightning.
Greased Lightning. Yep.
Greased Lightning. Yep. Yep. I remember that. But now, now it's all corporate, man. It's all corporate. They don't want, and I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm just going to say it. To me, what it is now, it's like wrestling.
No kidding.
They've got people that they want to have win races, and because it's going to be good for NASCAR, and that's how I see it. I mean, look, I do, man, and the reason why I say that is look at Danica Patrick. I don't think she's ever won a race. And just because I think there's better women drivers out there than she is.
Like who?
They can find.
Let's hear some names.
There's got to be someone better. There's got to be. I mean, I don't know because I don't follow it, but just what I see, there's got to be someone better.
Yeah.
Because she always qualifies good, but she never wins a race. And then you got a guy like Dale Jr., who I met once, by the way, who was a nice guy to me. It's like they need Dale Jr. to win because Dale is that pedigree. You know what I mean? He's got that pedigree. And if he's not winning races, it's like people ain't coming to the race. If Dale starts winning races and he gets a championship, them stands will be filled next year. You know what I mean? And I think they know that, and I think that's the goal. I think they're trying to make it where they can get, and I understand why. There's money involved. What are you doing? My son. That's what I think, man.
That's what it's all about is the money.
That's some of the behind the scenes stuff that we don't really think about or we don't see. What about the endorsements? Have you ever heard anything about the endorsements or?
Oh, it's big money, man.
Yeah. I
don't know the dollar amounts that they get, but I remember one time on ESPN, they actually did a piece on the owners in all the various sports, like football owners, baseball owners, and all that. And they said that NASCAR owners put more money in their pocket than any other sport, hands down.
Wow.
And it was a percentage like 20 to 75. You know what I mean? It was a huge dollar amount. It was just crazy amounts of money that these guys put in there. But
jump in.
Oh, the seat is locked.
Why is it locked, Lou?
Well, I
unlock the seat.
We have a celebrity, Emily, and we would like her to jump in because she is the fire.
Can we unlock it? How do we unlock it?
Open seat. The seat is open.
Jump in, Emily.
She's going to give us a reason why she can't get on.
Why does mine say it has a rectangle and says lock seat? Does that mean to lock it?
Yes, that means to lock. Yes.
Emily, get in here.
We see you. There she is.
Speaker, author, health coach.
Hey,
Emily.
Hi.
You want to talk NASCAR with us? We're talking NASCAR tonight.
Oh, no.
Talk NASCAR now.
I don't know if I can.
Emily, let me take down some notes. What are some topics in the future that you do feel comfortable talking about? We'll kind of work around you and get you on here.
Because it is about you, Emily.
It's about you.
Hey, I love you guys. This is fantastic.
And we like to do hairdo.
Are you all taken? Everyone, are you all taken?
Yes.
Yes, I'm married.
Yeah.
See, that's why all the good ones are taken, so I've heard, right? Like, damn, those ladies did a good job. My hat's off to them. Like, that's fantastic.
I'm giving her props. I'm giving her props.
Yeah.
I'm giving her props.
Hey, that's going on allendsmag.com as a testimonial.
I'm just giving her props. There we go. Okay, she's ready now. She's good.
So, Emily, like Lou was saying, the topic of tonight is NASCAR.
Okay.
Lou knows more about NASCAR than I do. I know very little about it. Where are you at on that spectrum?
Just tell her.
I probably know an eighth of what somebody that doesn't know a half of what you know.
Wow.
I don't know nothing about NASCAR. What are you talking about? I don't know nothing about it.
See,
Okay,
we gotta keep our eye on her.
I gotta speak to her. I gotta speak to her about this NASCAR thing. You know, when I first bought my house here 22 years ago, right? It was Sunday morning, and we had moved in on Friday and Saturday. Sunday morning, I'm standing in front of the house with a cup of coffee. I bought 6.5 acres, and the house is 1984 square feet, so it's a pretty good size. And I'm standing in front of my house going, God, what did I just do? And all of a sudden, here, whoa! I'm looking around. Someone's doing a dyno pull, and I can hear it.
I don't know what a dyno pull is.
They put the engine on it's called a dyno. It's a dynamometer, and what they're doing is they're measuring horsepower. So they're running it wide open throttle for a certain amount of time, and the computer tells you how much torque it's making, how much power. It gives you the whole readout of what the engine's doing. And what they're doing is they'll tune it, and then they do different pulls. So they'll just wide open throttle for like 45, 50 seconds
with no exhaust.
Read the information. They'll go in there and they'll tune on it, do it again. So I come out and someone's doing dyno pulls. I'm like, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. I get in my car and I ride down the street. And my neighbor Scott, he's a retired engineer. And I go over to his, I see his garage door open. I go in there, I introduce myself. I'm like, who's doing dyno pulls? He goes, oh, that's Lake Speed. His shop's right around the corner. There's, Lake Speed's this old racer. He was on his way out when I bought the house. But he's doing dyno pulls on Sunday morning before church. And I'm like, and Scott goes, you're in the heart of NASCAR. I'm like, okay. What are you talking about? I don't follow that stuff. So I don't know as much. I've picked up a few things in 20 years, but I don't know a lot about it.
Well, I got a story. Go ahead.
No.
Spit it out.
I hauled some cars to. Matter of fact, we went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I met a guy there that owned a T-shirt company, and he did a lot of the shirts. And he told me he would go on QVC and in 1 hour sell $1 million worth of shirts.
Oh, I believe
in
it.
1 hour.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy.
My kids are home. I'm gonna have to hop off so I can take care of them.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Sure.
Thanks for jumping in. We'll try to get on your show one day. You're in the mornings, right? Friday morning?
On Friday morning, yep. Mm-hmm.
What's
Friday
what's the title of it?
9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 Eastern Standard Time.
What's the title of it?
It's called the Collaboration Show, and so it's for entrepreneurs, right? So this month, our theme is talking about the things that you're scared of in your business, right? So we're all kind of different things, but really it's geared toward entrepreneurs. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's check it out.
Well, Emily, as always, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, have a great evening.
All right, you too.
Okay.
So now, what was your story?
Like I was saying, the guy selling all those T-shirts, he'd go on QVC in 1 hour sell $1 million worth of T-shirts. And he had a monster rig, like the whole side of it opened up, and he was like a beast.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So,
but dude, it's nuts the merchandise that they move. I mean, even today, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like I know a guy that collects the 1/24th the die-cast cars.
Yeah.
John's probably got to have 1,000 of them.
Wow.
I mean, like when he like
at $20 a piece.
Like like they'll do for the one Charlotte race, the All-Star race. It doesn't count for points, but they get like $1 million if they win. But for that race, like everybody will have a special card just for that race, special paint job. And John will go out and buy them. I mean, he just gets them. You know what I mean? So he's got all these really crazy die-cast cars along with the regular car that they run. Like say Jimmy Johnson. They like usually the Lowe's car is blue with white letters, but for some reason this race he's gonna do breast cancer awareness, so the car is gonna be pink.
Yeah.
John will buy the pink car, and then he'll make sure he had if the blue car comes back and there's something different about it, he'll buy another blue car for the next race. You know what I mean? Like he's that serious about collecting these things, man.
He's that guy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and he's got these really nice cases on the wall, and they're all like all the Earnhardt's cars are on the top shelf, all the Petty's cars are on the next shelf. Like they're not just mixed up. Like I would just like throw them in a box. He's got them all nice, you know what I mean? And he can tell you what all of them are. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Some are autographed, some aren't. Like he'll take that pink car. And he'll go to the Speedway next year, and if he sees Jimmy Johnson, he'll get it autographed. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. And I personally don't know. I mean, I'm imagining that these cars are worth money at some point. Who's going to buy them? I don't know, but I know he's got a bunch of money in this stuff, a bunch. And it's it's one of those things. If you sold it to the right person, it would be worth a shitload of money.
Yeah, that's it right there. Is the demand is from the collectors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's like selling a car. There's an ass made for every seat. So there's someone who collects that would want what he's got, and they would pay top dollar for it.
So let me ask you guys, what do you think is the attraction to these collectors?
I think for the fans that they feel there's a personal connection, and I think for the collector, they feel that same kind of connection. Mm-hmm. I really think that's what it is.
Dad?
Well, I'm thinking that a lot of people can relate to it, or used to be able to relate to it before they went more commercial. Because like Lou was saying, that you had guys that would race moonshine and then go to the track. So some of these drivers are like your uncle or your dad or something. You know what I mean? Driving the car.
Oh yeah.
And you can see yourself doing that. I mean, right now the cars are so expensive you couldn't do it just out of a garage.
And they all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like literally, the grills are stickers now. You know what I mean? The headlights. I mean, the headlights are stickers now, and they're all the same. It used to be that old adage: "What wins on Sunday sells on Monday." And it's not like that anymore. The cars don't have any character.
Yeah,
to me,
no personality. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
you make a good point when you say when you're looking at the track. You're looking at, that's my uncle. That's my dad driving. That's something that I'm capable of doing. When we watch LeBron James, it's like, I can't do that. I'm not that big. I'm not that fast. Or when we watch a football player, we see Ray Lewis. Oh, I can't hit that hard. I'm not that aggressive. I'm not that mean. But you look at somebody like Tony Stewart, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, I might be able to do that. I might be able to compete with him.
I can make a left turn. I drove a cab.
yeah, he's a little guy too. But yeah, you can see yourself. Yeah,
for the most part, they're old.
Yeah,
for the most part. But it's you know it. I think it's. I still think it's. I think there's that connection. You know, because like around here, and I'm sure they do it in other places, but a lot of the people around here will say stuff like, "Well, we won this and we won that and we did that." They feel a connection to that driver.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's like, what do you mean we? You never met the team.
Exactly.
Really
I didn't know you were on the team. I didn't know you had championship rings. You know, and they get really upset, man, when you talk to them.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy.
They get upset, man. I met this. I ran into this guy one time, and he actually turned out becoming a friend of mine. And he kept saying "we," you know, when I first moved down here. And Earnhardt was still alive. He's an Earnhardt fan. You know, well, we won 7 championships. I said, man, I didn't know you won the. How many rings you got? How many were you there for? Man, fuck you, man. You know what I mean? No, I don't. I don't. I really don't, because I don't do that. I don't get that.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because, like you said, they're making left turns, so it's just like, and it just seems like, how do you draw that engagement? How do you connect with people when all you're doing is making left turns?
Well, the connection is back when it was coming up. You know, those guys like Lou was saying, they were blue collar guys. They were working guys. You know what I mean? And that's where it got it from. Mm-hmm. It may not be so much now, but that's where it came from. You know, I mean, you had these guys working on their cars in the pits, and the driver was working on the car. He didn't have a big crew where all he did was stand around and look at the car. You know what I mean? These guys would work on it and jump in the car all greasy and go do 500 laps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You'd be at work the next day.
Yeah, you know, and then drive it home.
Yeah,
you know,
all wrecked up.
Right. Like there was a guy who, he's gone now, Paul Wise. Paul was one of those guys. Remember when Pontiac did that big campaign, "We Build Excitement"? Mm-hmm. You remember that? All the Pontiac commercials they did, "We Build Excitement." That was their tagline.
Check that out.
It was from the 80s, the mid to late 80s.
Huh.
And they had one. It was a 3rd gen Firebird. And I remember the end of the commercial was Pontiac, "We Build Excitement," and there's this super stock Trans Am, and it's at the light, and it's at the Christmas tree, and it launches and it goes down the track. That car was built and campaigned by my neighbor who lived around the corner from me, Paul Wise.
Wow.
He was also a crew chief on a bunch of NASCAR teams, and he was a head fabricator. He was really deep into racing.
Yeah.
And Paul was one of those guys that did it because he loved it. But like he would tell me that the people like the drivers. The connection is the driver. You know what I mean? It's not the sponsors. These people follow that driver because they're connected to him. Like the people that liked Earnhardt, they liked Earnhardt for the way he was. Yeah. Like you knew he was going to bump you and put you into the wall if he had to pass you. You know what I mean? There was no bones about it. You knew he was going to do it if he had to do it, and that's what they like. The cars I think are irrelevant. It's the characters, and that's it. Kind of holds true today, but it's just not. I don't think it's as prevalent.
So let's talk about the drivers. Because they're doing something that not everyone's doing. So there has to be a level of skill that they have that most people don't. Is that how you feel?
Oh, there's a level. I mean, there really is. There's a level of skill there. But I think guys like Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Boris said, I think there's some that are that they're that next level.
Yeah, they're the LeBron James, the phenom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I mean, you look at Tony Stewart, the dude will jump into a World of Outlaws sprint car, and those things are making 1,000 horse. They have one wheel that has a brake on it, and he'll get in that thing and drive it like he never got out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and win.
And win. Yeah, and to me, that's the guy that, like you said, that's the LeBron James of the sport. I mean, Jimmy Johnson. Come on, man. The guy gets very little props for winning 5 or 6 championships. He did like 2 of them in a row. 3 of them in a row, and they don't talk about him that much.
Yeah,
but the dude's got to be. Hey, she's back.
She's back. Wait a minute. You made dinner that quick?
I didn't make dinner. I just had to their dad was dropping them off, and so I had to make sure that one went to get in the shower because he just got done with football, and the other one is hanging out, and so I just had to kind of get them all lined
fish
up.
Sticks. She made him fish sticks. She made him fish sticks.
They don't have school tomorrow, so they're kind of on their own, right? Like I don't have to. Not that I don't have to do it, but
Yeah. Yeah. How old are your kids, Emily?
I have a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah, they're on autopilot. Just don't let them burn down the house. You'll be good.
As long as they flush the toilet, don't burn the house down.
Exactly. It's all good in the hood.
We're still working on the toilet flushing thing. That is disgusting. So when I go into my basement, boys, what? I'm like, what do you not understand about making sure that is happening, gentlemen? Come on. Yeah.
Okay, Emily, we need to find out what you and Brittany did that night of karaoke. Did you find a place?
Brooke, yeah, my sister Brooke, yeah. We did sing. I did sing, yes, and I sang. Oh, I sang Margaritaville is what I sang that night.
All right. So you were supposed to blab us back so we could.
Right. Rob was with me that night because he knew that "Don't Stop Believing" was taken, and so the funny thing about that night was that 5 minutes after you guys hopped off, I had messaged Rob back. I left my phone sitting on the counter, and the girls were talking, and I got wrapped up into a conversation and then never just hopped back on. So I missed you by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
right, next time out, we want to see it.
Okay.
I got a quick karaoke story. I gotta tell it. When I was stationed in Mississippi, there was this bar called Frank's, and it was an older crowd. And every Wednesday they'd do karaoke. And they would, they would dress up. Like they'd come in suits and gowns, but they did Sinatra and they did the good stuff. And I got up there, I kicked it, I just blew it out of the park. Theme song from the Brady Bunch.
Wow.
I would love to see that one.
They're doing Tony Bennett and Sinatra and
have you ever seen Jamie Foxx's version of the Brady Bunch? Oh man. Okay. So after you guys get off here, or at some point in your lifetime, you should just hop on YouTube and watch Jamie Foxx's version of the Brady Bunch. That shit is off the hook. It is so amazing and funny, and it's wonderful. It really is. It won't be that's 6 minutes of my life I'll never get back again. It'll be that was amazing, and now I got to tell somebody about it.
We'll put that on the list for sure.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to write it down now. I'm writing it down.
For sure.
Jamie Foxx.
We like the new hairdo.
NASCAR. What's that?
We like the new hairdo.
Thank you very much. It was I just straightened it today, so it's straight laced.
Straight laced.
So, Emily, before you jump back on, we were talking about the skills that NASCAR drivers have, because to me, all I see is people making left turns, and I don't see the skill in that. And Lou was talking about how there is skill involved in that, and how there's certain people that are phenomenons. So, Lou, can you explain it in layman terms to the layman people such as myself? What are the skills that are involved with that?
Well, you have to be able to read the car, because what they're doing when they're going around the track is the car pushes, it pulls. You can feel it in the seat. You can feel it in the steering wheel. You know, how the car tracks, stuff like that. And that's, if the driver can convey that to the crew chief, and the crew chief can take that and make the car handle like it's supposed to, then you have a good combination.
How's a car supposed to handle?
Well, like you don't want to hit the turn and the car say you want to run your line and it's in the bottom of the track. You don't want to hit the turn and the car starts sliding up, or the ass end swings around like that. So, you know, there's ways to fix it in the chassis where you can load and unload the springs and the shocks so it stays where you want it to stay. You know, like sprint car drivers, right? You watch a World of Outlaws sprint car. When that thing hits the turn, the ass end comes halfway around and they go around the turn sideways. You don't want that happening in a NASCAR race. You know what I mean?
What are some of the speeds that they reach, just to put it in perspective?
Oh, dude, Talladega, they used to do like 200, 220. You know, I mean,
Wow.
they're cranking it. At Charlotte, I think the average speed is like 180.
Wow, that's an average.
Yeah, man, they
yeah.
fly.
Hey, we got the professional Rob over here in the sidebar telling us all everything. But look at the picture of Lou.
Look at the picture.
Rob
I
on
feel
it.
like I should hop out so that Rob can hop in. Like, he's got much more value to add to this conversation than I do.
Just by doing the pictures, he's got value to add. But yeah, I mean, you have to be able to convey what's going on with the car, you know, as a driver, because, you know, different vibrations come. Like, you can feel some stuff in the steering wheel, then you can feel other stuff in the seat of your pants, stuff like that. That's what it is. And then the crew chief has got to be able to say, okay, guys, you know, do this, do that, and then make it happen.
Well, it looks like we
lost Lou. Rob, jump in.
But so talking about those cars, average speed 180 over
What's up,
200 miles per hour. Hey, Rob, nice to see you.
What's up, Rob?
What's up? What's up, everybody out there?
Rob could probably Google it and tell us what the average speed of Talladega is.
Oh, yeah.
He's that kind
I could look at it, but yeah, they get up there, but they did tone them down. Like they shut them down a little bit,
Yeah.
so they're peaking like a 200. But yeah, like with the camber and knowing, yeah, I mean that's the thing. And here's a great example: is in the Xfinity Cup where they're a little bit slower. One of the drivers, a younger driver, he's like 18 years old, Suarez. He was having trouble with his car, so his teammate Kyle Busch jumped in. And he was going around the course and he was telling them, you know, how it could handle better. So that's what Lou was talking about, is how that can make a difference. Because if you don't know how to tell your crew if you're loose or tight or what the camber is, if you adjust it up or down and it doesn't, the pull and how you're coming out of the turns, then you could potentially, get a tire rub, run into the wall, all kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, and you're going to be slower.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know what I mean? You're going to be slower because you got guys that qualify great with nobody else on the track, but
right.
They can't finish the race to save their life because they can't keep up with the pack. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's crazy. More than I know, that's for sure.
So, Rob,
Yes.
let me ask you this.
What's up, buddy?
Who are some of the drivers that you see that are underrated?
I don't know. I think there's a lot that are like overrated. I mean, there's not going to be anybody like out there in zebra high heels or whatever like that, like just really stands out. But you're going to have people that, as far as I think there's more people that are probably overrated than underrated, because people are just going to be out there doing their thing, So I think just like from what you're saying is a lot of people are underrated because you think as far as just NASCAR in general, it's not really a big skill. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't know. I think, you know, some up and comers like Eric Jones is pretty good. Like, I mean, he's still like, I think he just turned 19. Kyle Larson, he's coming up he was in Xfinity, but now he's in Sprint Cup. You know, some of them they've been driving forever. And so you take a lot of it for granted because people have just been doing this for so long since they were like, you know, literally able to ride a bicycle. They've been driving cars, you know.
You got kids that were running golf go-karts.
Yeah. And they've just done it. So it's just second nature when they get out and they start talking, you know, about, you know, how it's tight in here and into the turn, this, that, and then it picks up and you knowing all that stuff at like 18 years old, like driving these cars that, you know, like we were saying, going 180, 90, 200 miles an hour is just crazy, you know, so.
It is crazy. And you know what? It's crazy to go 75 miles per hour.
What are you talking about? That's every day.
No. But that's what I'm saying. That's every day. And you don't realize it. You don't realize that you're in a metal machine that's thousands of pounds going 75 miles per hour. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, when we came back from Bristol a couple months ago, you know, we're driving home and it was so late and I was like tired and I'm sitting there driving. I'm looking down. I'm like, man, it's like 70 something I'm driving. If I were to fall asleep and hit something at this speed, so think, you know,
it's going to be ugly.
Yeah. So think almost 3 times that speed. And that's what they're going at, you know?
Yeah.
So Emily, what was your top speed again when you were running the cops? That's what Lee wants to know over there.
So I actually never really did. So my racing career was younger in my life, but I did off-road racing actually more so than you know, track racing. So yeah, I raced off-road for 78 rebuilt Bronco with a 429 Cobra Jet.
Oh, you know what? Before you go any further, this is recording, so anything you say can and will be. I want to throw that out there for legal reasons.
She's saying hypothetically.
Yeah.
That would happen if.
Yeah. So I don't know what the top speed. I probably I really don't know because it wasn't really about speed in those situations, right? It was the obstacle course, and so it was like all kind of crazy things that we were doing. So yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, thanks for that. So Rob and Lou, what are some of the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to NASCAR that people, the layman such as myself, doesn't know about?
Their shops are phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I mean, think about it too, like, you know, and I saw it like last week when, you know, with the electrical stuff and, you know, you don't think about these things, but it could lose you a championship title, just a single electrical problem. Like Jimmy Johnson was riding in his electrical issues and he ended up, you know, finishing at the back of the pack. You can go laps down over something simple, but also I've seen people that hit the wall that come in the pits and they just get the hammers and mallets out and everything. And they're back and they got the tape and they're back out there, like things that would take a lot of time. They're doing in like tens of seconds. And it's just ridiculous. But
I like the whole aspect of building the car.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you know, the cars are, you know, especially now the chassis. The chassis are all, I think there's like 2 companies that do the chassis and you can buy them all together or you can build them yourself. So like the big teams like Hendricks are building their chassis, but they get all the tubing from one place and everything's bent and ready to go. But being able to, you know, because they're trying so hard to make the cars the same, they're trying to make the playing field level. And then to see some guy get a car built and he comes out and he just waxes everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's that next level guy, you know, that's what impresses me.
Well, one thing you're not going to hear like one of the top drivers like, hey, I wear Batman underwear. They're going to talk about their car. Like when they're in there, they're going to say it wasn't handling well. It wasn't doing whatever. I mean, they're not going to, I mean, very rarely do they get off top. If they get emotional, it's about who they're going to punch in the mouth. And that's what it's going to be. And it's over. Somebody got too close to them or something. they're very rarely, and even then, I'm surprised, I'm impressed by them at how easily that they can take things as, oh well, that's just racing. Because like for me, like if somebody dumped me or somebody wrecked me, came up too close or whatever, I would be hot. Yeah, especially in the championship, like when you're going for a cup, and just to be like, oh well, that's racing, and it's unfortunate, and we'll just have to get back out there. I mean, like when you wreck, especially now in the championship race part here, the chase, that you go to the bottom of the pack and like 4 cars get eliminated each round every 3 races now. So one race where you just hit you hit the wall and you're just out for a little bit, you're done. I mean, you pretty much, your hopes are gone, and you have to do what Kevin Harvick did a couple weeks ago, is win it. So he got in a wreck, he had a problem, so he had to win or he was out, and he won the race. So you know how hard that is to say, I'm going to go into this race and I'm going to win this race. And that's what he did. So
wow.
Yeah.
So Lou, when a car is able to go that fast, what are some of the 2 or 3 important things that the car must have when it comes to suspension, when it comes to the tires? What are some of the important things
the big thing is good aero.
What's an aero? Oh, aerodynamics.
That car has to be. I mean, that's 2 or 3 things held. The big thing is aero, because those spoilers that are on it are designed to keep the car planted to the pavement.
Yeah,
that's if the aero's not good, that car is going to be slow, because he can't go as fast around the turns. You know what I mean? So the aero package is the biggie,
and keeping it cool. Keeping it cool. I mean, simple things like just like a hot dog wrapper on the front of the car, or a piece of hot dog wrapper, even a napkin that's breathable, getting on their fan in the beginning.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it sends the temperature up ridiculous. And what they have to do is they have to get behind another car and pretty much bump them to knock the thing loose. And so you run the risk there too. You're going 200 miles an hour and you have a napkin on the front of your car and you got to bump the car in front of you and stay, and it's nuts,
Well, it's funny because I remember when I first moved down here, they were talking, and every now and then it surfaces, they talk about how a chicken bone cost Dale Earnhardt a race. Suppose the story is that I was told is that they were racing in Charlotte and some guy threw a chicken bone on the track. Dale Earnhardt ran over the bone, cut a tire, put him into the wall, lost the race.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But, when you think about that, a chicken bone costing you a race, that's a serious issue. You know what I mean?
So hey, we got a request over here. We're staying on topic, and Lou doesn't like that, so he wants to know if Emily can talk a little bit more about the truck and everything. And I'm gonna pop out to let him get back in here because I appreciate you guys letting me in. So
I'll get out.
No, he wants to hear about it, so I'll get out. I'll be over there. I have more fun over there in the comment sections anyway. So
thanks, Rob.
Later, Rob.
Okay, did you see the picture he put of me over there with the? Rob ain't right. Next week I'm gonna have some stuff ready.
That had you with witness protection.
I'm worried about him. He's sneaky like that.
Is that why you have like a clear backdrop? It's like just solid colors.
He has a horrible picture of me. You got to be careful with that, Rob. He's sneaky.
That's funny.
Yeah, you got to do your hair and makeup before you get on.
For sure, you got to be careful about your. We were chatting one day, and he caught me in the weirdest. I know that I make strange manner. Like I'm very animated, and the picture that he took, and he's going to do it. I know he's going to do it now. He's listening and he's watching and he's saying, horrific. Like
he's lurking.
If I ever need to do, it's going to be like, oh, Rob Rudy has that freaking picture of me that's just horrendous. Yeah.
Oh man!
So tell us about your dirt track racing. We want to know if you jumped it or if you what'd you do?
Yeah, absolutely. we used to, I was 16 at the time, right? So it was a long time ago, but my girlfriends and I it was only a 2-seater, right? So you're 4 pointed in, or 5 pointed in, 5 pointed in. And we would sing as we were driving because we were scared, right? But it was so fun. And so I think we sang things like the Star Spangled Banner and, just dumb stuff like that. But yeah, it was scary. I never rolled it, but my dad rolled it several times. And, my mom learned to deal with that. And, oh, good, it's not me. Yay. Look at how happy you are. That's fantastic. I love it.
That's a good picture of me. I'm going to make that my default picture.
So I mean, I raced it pretty consistently for about 3 summers. I mean, Montana, you only have a very short window of time when you can really get out there and do stuff. The rest of the time,
it's like a week, right? It's like a week, right? It's like 1 week.
Yeah, for sure. So the rest of the time, it's so freaking cold here that you can't do a whole lot. So, we raced in the summertime. And so from the time that I was like 15 and a half, 16 till I was like 18, 19, I raced every summer and, obstacle course. And we did dirt drags too, but I'm pretty good off the line, but we never did any regular, I don't even know what, the other kind of racing that's not dirt track. We didn't have one of those until like
drag racing.
Right, drag racing that's on pavement instead of on. We now have we have a track here that they just built. Gosh, maybe I don't know, 7 years ago or so. That actually is rated
NHRA.
NHRA, yes. It's so we do get occasionally some. I live in a redneck state, people. So it's like they love the hell out of that kind of stuff, right? Like if I can sniff gasoline all day and drink beer, I am in. I mean, not me personally, but the people from here. So
yeah.
Hey, after the race, they go tip cows, right?
For sure. Or before, right?
On the way to the track.
I'd tell you, I need to go up to Montana because they got lots of cool old trucks up there.
Yes.
That's what I need to do. Go to
not
Montana
unless you own a truck and a Labrador, right? That's the kind of joke, and a shotgun or something.
Gotta have some kind of gun, yeah.
Requires.
I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that guys are pulling out, old Dodge trucks and old farm trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm still single, by the way.
What? Because you don't drive a truck or what?
I feel like a lot of those guys don't really have a whole lot. I need a little more to stimulate me than
you need that engaging conversation.
Yeah. If you can't hold my attention for more than 3 minutes, probably it's not going to work out for us.
She's honest.
Well, hey, yeah, you're honest.
Hey, but Emily, that's how I feel about NASCAR. It doesn't hold my attention for over 3 minutes, so that's why.
My ex-husband was a NASCAR fan, and he's an ex.
Well, that says it.
So yeah, I mean, this conversation has been really insightful for me. Because I have no idea. I have no idea about anything on NASCAR. And Lou, you broke it down really nice and clear for me. I appreciate that.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly. So we are looking at the final 5 minutes of this week's episode. What's the final 5? What's on your guys' mind?
SEMA 2 weeks, man.
SEMA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you know what? Hey, that's a great segue. Folks, we're going to be talking about SEMA next week. That's going to be the topic of conversation. Yeah. And so let's plan for that. I'm going to think of some questions to ask you guys for SEMA. We're probably going to be talking about Vegas, talking about products, talking about some of the displays that they have set up there. So have that on your mind going into next week.
Emily, do you know what SEMA is?
I do actually, because if you remember, my dad a automotive business my whole life growing up, right? So, yep. So he, even in our little, a little town. I mean, we have it's 150,000 people, so it's not super small, but it's small enough, right? But every year in October, I can remember, him and my mom would do their trip to SEMA, right? And he would do the whole show. And I think it was always very, very good for his business because it would allow him to stay on the cutting edge of what was happening in the industry, right? Yeah. So he would bring a lot of those ideas, tips, tricks, tools that a lot of the big cities and a lot of those guys who are really out there back to Montana. And so for the longest time, I think he would equate SEMA to a large part of what made him successful in his business, right? Even if he didn't necessarily implement some of those things, he was connected to the vendors. And a lot of the reason that he went is he's a Napa guy. So he, carries a lot of Napa products in his store and uses a lot of their. So a lot of the trips, when he went were Napa funded because he just sold that much product that he would,
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
It's good.
That was a beautiful story. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
I can contribute sometime.
For sure.
Hey, you do every time. Every time you do.
Yeah, every
You-
time is a
You're our
valuable
mascot.
conversation.
Yep, you're our mascot. the M.
So Lou, what about
the picture?
what about
You see the picture that Rob posted with Batman?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like me. I'm Robin, right? Okay, so Lou, before we finish out, next week we're talking about SEMA. Give us just a brief overview. What has SEMA has done for you personally and professionally?
Personally, it was crossed off my bucket list, because for me being a single man shop, I can't afford to shut down my shop and stop building cars and go to SEMA to hang out. So for me, it's cool because of TV, I go do an appearance or two and I get paid.
Wow.
And I get to go to SEMA.
That's beautiful. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly. So, and the first time I went, I was told that if you walk the whole show, you'll cover 75 miles.
Wow.
That's what I was told the first time I went to SEMA. So it's huge.
It is bigger.
So,
God.
yeah, it's really cool because it's like the Super Bowl of the automotive world.
Yeah.
That's the easiest equation that I can make. So, yeah, from that aspect, it's good. And the business aspect, I don't think I didn't pull anything from it because I never looked at it as a business thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to cross it off my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had always heard about it.
Yeah.
And as a car guy, you want to go to it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
For so yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Dad, what about you? We'll wrap it up with this.
Same thing, bucket list. You get out there and you see stuff that you'll never see on the road or anywhere. It's just amazing how much stuff is there. And, I went for a couple of different businesses. I went for my transport company and I was doing business with that. So after I left that, I went for the magazine. So, I used the excuse of business, but it's go see the cars. Yeah, see the car and see Lou. Because, when you go see Lou, we go eat.
That's why I'm there.
So we're there. We go eat. So you're eating when you're with Lou.
and Em, do you have any final words?
Oh man, when you go to Vegas and you go to the SEMA show, you're always gonna see that girl, right? Who just looks all kind of crazy. She's stumbling around and she's like, "My pink polka dotted bra is killing me," right? I mean, it's just like,
yeah, you do.
ridiculousness, right? So there's always that element to Vegas, no matter what show you're going to see.
Well, I remember. I'm gonna. It's 10 o'clock, so I'll make this quick. I remember it was the second time I went to SEMA. The AVNs overlapped like a day or two with SEMA. You know what the AVNs are?
No.
The AVNs are the porn industry's version of the Oscars.
Okay.
That's what they are.
Wow.
It's the AVN awards, the Adult Video Awards.
Yeah.
Well, they for whatever reason they overlap like a day or two. So we're walking, you're walking around the show, and you start seeing these women are sprawled out on these cars, and they're all. I mean, they might as well be naked, because they're all porn stars. They're walking around with see-through outfits on, their boobs are hanging out. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. All the porn stars were coming over from the AVN.
Well,
Floating in.
it looks like we have a lot to talk about next week then. So, well, that's all I have, folks.
Yeah, we got some